Hello everyone, and welcome back to Director's Corner, issue 4. We're now 4 quarters into this new Variant Pictures, a whole 12 months in fact. And I think it's about time that we round off this analysis. That's not to say that this is the end of Director's Corner or anything. This is a series that I plan to continue for the entire duration of the channel. And I've really enjoyed this new schedule for it, doing it every quarter basically. It's been really nice doing it this way because it's been nice to be able to consistently recap the last few months while also, looking ahead to the future months and teasing what's going to happen then. It's been a really nice strategy because I feel like doing it only like once a year, for example, would have been maybe a bit too much in one go, and I would have felt the need to talk about videos more soon after they came out. And so this new format, this new structure has allowed me to do that, and that's been very good, and I've been very happy with it. But when I say it's the end of the X months in review format, what I mean is that, we've now concluded 12 months, a full year of this new channel. And the whole reason that I had these first issues called, 4 months in review, 8 months in review, the whole reason for that was that, because we were in a way starting from scratch, right? You can go back and watch the first issue. In there, I talk a bit about, quite at length in a way, about why this new channel exists, what's the deal with it, why is there a new Variant Pictures and an old Variant Pictures, what is it all about? And, I did a whole video on that, and I don't want to repeat myself here, especially because that's one of the reasons that I'm ending this naming format for the episodes. From now on, they're just going to have specific titles based on whatever I talk about in the actual Director's Corner, instead of just being the same type of title, but just added 4 months every time. Because the whole reason I did this in the first place with Director's Corner for the last 4 issues now is that I wanted to see if I could make it work. When we had to do this whole thing in the first place, when we had to create a new channel because of all the things that went down, and we had to start from scratch, I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to do it, to kickstart a new version of Variant Pictures. And it was a risky operation in a way, and I kind of gave myself like 1 year to make it work. And if I didn't, then I'd figure out some other solution. Either go back to the old one or see what we could do. Who knows? But I wanted to figure it out. I wanted to give myself a year to give this an attempt, to give this a proper try and see if it could work or not. I didn't have any specific sub goal in mind for this 1 year process. God knows it's practically impossible to start a new YouTube channel nowadays with how incredibly competitive the market is on this website. So I didn't have any specific goals of achieving a certain level of success or what have you, but I did want to at least try and get into a groove, get into a rhythm, and make something of this channel and really reinvigorate Variant Pictures through this new channel. And I really think that we've succeeded. Back when we started 12 months ago, we announced a few shows. There was Screenwriter's pitch, there were the fan film reviews, and then there were our original projects. And we were able to do all of those things. Sadly, some things took longer than expected, but things like Screenwriter's pitch was a huge success, by far and away the most successful thing on this channel so far, which, all of us at Variant Pictures, we knew that was going to be the case. Like, we all talked amongst ourselves, we were like, yeah, that one's going to do the best. No matter how well or not well Screenwriter's pitch was going to do, we knew that was going to be the thing that was going to do the best because it had the widest appeal. And we were right, because it was the most successful thing on the channel, and it's done really well. The Spider-Man 3 pitch, just the film version alone, where we combined all the parts together, just that version in and of itself has like now over 10,000 views, which is fucking insane to me. And the comments have been so invigorating, getting people's responses and seeing people's support and appreciation for this series has been really heartwarming, and so I can't thank you guys enough for that. The fan film reviews, well, we didn't do a lot of those. We've done 2 of those so far. But those reviews are not something that I ever considered being a consistent thing. It's just something I knew I always wanted to do, and I you know, kind of had now an excuse to do it, I felt. And I still plan to do more of those in the future. But it's not something that I want to be a particularly consistent thing on the channel. It's just something that if I really have a strong opinion on a fan film in particular, I'll do it. I have one right now that's in the works. I've been working on it for a long time, but it's just kind of been on the back burner to some extent. But it's gonna come out at some point. I'd be very surprised if it didn't come out next year. Then there's the podcast, which was yet again something that wasn't very consistent. We've also only had 2 of those so far. The difference is, though, that the podcast was supposed to be a consistent thing. But in a previous issue of Director's Corner, I talked about the fact that we decided to no longer make it a regular program. It didn't take long for us to make that call. We did it in about two podcasts in. We decided that. But the reason was that it's, you know, we knew it wasn't going to be an especially popular thing. So we felt like, you know, and since the views confirmed that it didn't do especially well, we felt like there's no point insisting on this and forcing it to happen. And instead we were like, look, we'll make one if we have a really cool idea or discussion or person to talk to. If that is the case, if the stars align in that way, we'll do it. Otherwise, we won't force it anyway. We'll do one when we have something special, and if not, we're not gonna force ourselves to do one on regular intervals. And I think that's honestly for the best. Because that way, every time we do make a podcast, you know for a fact that it is a really good discussion, and it's going to be a really great podcast, and that we've been really planning it out for a good amount of time, and really making sure that we have a good thing in the pipeline for you guys. But like I said, Screenwriter's Pitch is by far and away the breakout star, in a way, of the shows that we have on this channel, and I couldn't be happier with the success of it. You know, even if it's a fairly relative success for the size of the channel, you know, even though it's a fairly relative amount of success, considering the size of the channel, it's still quite impressive, the views it's gotten for that amount of subscribers. So that's been really great. Screenwriter's Pitch is a format that we've really been tweaking and toying with as the months have gone on. We've been really trying to figure it out as we go along in terms of what exactly is Screenwriter's Pitch going to be on a regular basis. Because technically, we're only 3 episodes in currently as I record this. We're only 3 episodes in to Screenwriter's Pitch. We've done Spider-Man No Way Home pre-write, Wonder Woman 84. And we've done the pre-write/rewrite. It's kind of unsure what really you would categorize that, but I considered it a pre-write for Spider-Man 4. And you can kind of see the progression as that has gone along. We've kind of figured out more the format. And I was really nervous with the Spider-Man 4 one, especially because that one was the most drastic departure from the other 2. The first 2 episodes are fairly long, and both of them are feature length, really. I mean, the first one was almost 2 hours, the second was about 1 hour. So it was a very long thing. It was really like scene by scene, line by line almost. But in the Wonder Woman one, it was kind of a transitional one because you can see in that one, it's no longer really line by line. I kind of summarized the scenes more, but it's still fairly, scene by scene analysis kind of thing. And I really enjoyed doing that. That's not a format that I've abandoned entirely. I said this in the Spider-Man 4 pre-write, but the extended, feature-length, line-by-line, sort of a table read almost, script read format of the earlier episodes is not one that I want to abandon entirely for future episodes. It's just not one that is really sustainable in the long term, because as you saw, it's been 1 year and we've only gotten 3 out. And that's quite telling to how long that thing takes to make, especially the Wonder Woman one that took way longer than it needed to. It took twice as long as the Spider-Man 3 pitch, in spite of being almost half the length. Well, actually, no, exactly half the length, because it's 1 hour shorter. And that wasn't supposed to be the case, but when you combine a lot of different factors, one of the big ones is we started production on our live action Spider-Man series right around the time that we were releasing that. I'm pretty sure it was the month immediately following the first part releasing, we started production on our Spider-Man series. And as you can imagine, that took a lot of time and energy, and therefore didn't leave much for the Wonder Woman video. And so that one really got dragged out over time, and I was kind of frustrated by that. And it really motivated the decision with Spider-Man 4 to make it a 1 episode thing, and I summarize the plot in 1 episode. I go over the major themes, the major moments, key scenes if I need to, but I'm not going to go over every single scene. And it worked out really well. I was really nervous that people weren't going to like it, but luckily the comments were really supportive. People really enjoyed the episode, and so that was really reassuring for me. But if you really enjoyed the more extended format, especially the No Way Home one, which was really a script read basically. I wrote a feature script and I read out the whole thing basically. If you preferred that kind of format, rest easy, because I've not abandoned it. It's still something that I want to do, but it's really got to be for a project that I think warrants it, and that I have enough passion to commit that much time and energy to. Because if I do that, then it'll take the equivalent time that it would take, let's say that it's 4 parts long, then it's going to take the equivalent time it would take to make 4 regular length, Screenwriter's Pitch videos to make 1 episode, because it's 4 parts long. So that's why I don't want to, that's why I say it's unsustainable, because it's just too big to do consistently. But with this more reduced format, which is more condensed and more tightly packed, gets all the vital information in, but without all of the scene by scene analysis, and it's a more broad analysis while focusing on the key moments of the story. That will allow me to make way more per year than I would with the more extended format. So that's why we've changed things up, and from here on out, the Screenwriter's Pitch is more going to resemble the Spider-Man 4 pre-write than it is going to resemble the first 2 episodes. But on occasion, we will do ones that are longer, like the previous ones, for special occasions, really, for things that really warrant it, and that I feel ready to tackle something like that. Given how long it's going to take, and given the fact that it means I most likely will not be able to do another Screenwriter's Pitch for 4 to 6 months, or something like that. So I hope you can understand why I took this decision. And I'm happy to know that it seems like you guys are very receptive to the newer format, the more condensed format. So that's very happy for me. And so I'm very happy to hear that in general. So that does it for the retrospective look back. It's been a crazy 12 months, but it's not over yet, because I have some things that I would like to talk about for the future, for the next 4 months, until the next Director's Corner. A few days ago, as of the recording of this, on Batman Day, we released the announcement trailer for Gotham Pizza 2, which is titled Batman Gotham Pizza Second Serving. That's the full title of the movie. It was a really cool announcement for us. We've been holding on to it for a long time. The history of this movie specifically is quite a complicated one, because we shot the film last year. It's been a very long time coming in a way. But it's a project that's always been on the back burner for us, because we released the first one in early 2019, and we had a blast making that. We had such a good time making the first Gotham Pizza, and we immediately were like, we have to do another one. And so a few months later, in the fall of 2019, we got together and we wrote the script, and we started shooting not long after that. But we were working on other projects, and on top of that, we were now in our final year of high school, and so things got in the way. And then, of course, guess what happened in early 2020? You guessed it. So that prevented us from filming a lot, and so production went very slowly. We eventually wrapped, and when we wrapped, we decided at that point that because we'd been toying with this idea for a while, and we eventually decided that, just to go for it. And so we shot at the same time that we were shooting this sequel. We decided to go back and shoot extra scenes and reshoot a few things from the first Gotham Pizza, so that we could make what we decided to call the reheated version of Gotham Pizza, like pizza and reheated, like we reheated the pizza, because it's even better when we reheat it, Got 'em. And the main thing we wanted to fix, the main thing we wanted to address, was that the original Gotham Pizza lacked a criminal amount of context. A lot of things happen and you don't really understand why. And the history of this world, in terms of how did Batman end up being a pizza delivery guy, it's kind of said offhandedly, like how that happened, and it's not really clarified much. And so we decided to go back, reshoot an extra 5 minutes in total, and so we added a bit at the beginning of the movie, which sort of, in a very short amount of time, summed up what Batman used to be in this universe. He was sort of like a celebrity vigilante guy on, doing a reality TV show, basically. Like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but instead it's Batman fighting crime. It's Gotham Pizza, okay? You've got to get on board with this universe and its logic. This isn't a traditional adaptation of Batman, which is probably why it, bombed completely. But whatever, this is our approach to that. And so we shot that stuff, and we reshot a few small moments. We added back a scene into the edit that we had cut originally, so it's kind of like an extended edition. But we added it not only for that reason, to sort of put in more of the movie that we had initially cut out, but also because we realized that we'd made a mistake cutting that out. Not a huge mistake, but still we felt like the film would honestly be better served if we put that in. And we managed to put it somewhere in the edit that worked for us, because that was one of the main reasons we cut it initially, is because that scene didn't really fit tonally with what was happening right before and right after. So we cut it, but we didn't find another way of incorporating it. And so this time around, we decided to actually go in and actually put it back in the movie in a place that made sense and didn't disrupt too much the flow of the story. All in all, my point is we had a great time making that reheated edition of Gotham Pizza, and we made it at the same time that we shot the sequel for Gotham Pizza, the second serving. See what we did there? I'm not going to do that again. It's been on the back burner again because since the first one didn't do very well, and the reheated edition we hoped maybe would reinvigorate things, but it didn't do much either. We weren't exactly disappointed much because we knew what happened with the first one when it released initially in 2019. So, we were prepared for failure in a way. But the result of that is we realized, okay, this isn't something that is highly anticipated, at least not by a lot of people. We've had a few DMs from people who were interested in Gotham Pizza, and we're really looking forward to there maybe being more of it and what have you. So to those people, I want to say hi. Thank you for caring about this series, because not a lot of people do. But again, I understand why it's not a popular thing. It's a very out there interpretation. It's a lot closer to the Adam West version of Batman, which was the intention. It was supposed to be a kind of modernized interpretation of that, in the sense that, if someone were to make a absurd comedy approach to Batman, which the Adam West series is, it's absurd and it's fully comedic and it doesn't take itself seriously. Like, our approach was, what if we had that same approach but with modern comedic sensibilities? And that's what Gotham Pizza is, in large part. It's also just an excuse for us to make a dream come true, because Gotham Pizza was always like an inside joke within our friend group, and we were like, we gotta like make this into a real thing, and so we did. And so it was very much a dream come true for us to do that. At the end of the day, it wasn't very popular, and so we felt no rush. We were like, we'll take our time with it. We'll do it at our own pace, and we'll release it when it's ready. And so that's what's happened. We've kind of sat on it for a while, and now we're at a state where we're ready to announce a release date, and we're ready to release it properly. We fixed ourselves a release date, and we're currently in post-production, which the film has technically been in post-production for like over a year at this point. But nevertheless, we've been in post-production working on it, and it's coming out on the 22nd of February 2022. And of course, how can I forget Spider-Man Life, which is our live-action Spider-Man series, which I mentioned a bit earlier. We announced the series back in December of last year. So it's been a long time. And initially we were hoping to release it sometime this year in 2021, which is why in that announcement trailer back in December of 2020, it said next year, the life of a hero begins, because we intended on releasing it this year. But we had kind of hoped that COVID would kind of quiet down, and it didn't really. I mean, it kind of did, but not fully. So it was still challenging to film, and all in all, it's just taken longer than expected. It's not so much that each individual scene or day of shooting was that we sort of underestimated, but it was more that we underestimated the amount of delays we would face due to one reason or another. And we've worked with so many great people, and honestly, this is by far the biggest production we've ever done. It's a crazy shoot. We have the biggest crew that we've ever had on a production like this. But it's been crazy. It's been an incredible experience, and we finally felt comfortable announcing a new release date to celebrate Spider-Man Day. So much like Batman, we used the anniversary of the day of celebration to announce something for our project. With Batman, we announced the existence. We confirmed the existence and announced the release date of our sequel to our short film from 2019. And with Spider-Man, we announced a proper release date, a new release date, but also a proper release date, because initially we just said next year. And now we actually gave an exact release date, August 10th, 2022. And additionally, we announced that what was going to be releasing was part 1. And if you're curious what exactly we meant by part 1 and what exactly the series is going to look like, and generally, if you want more information about that series specifically, then you should stay tuned, because on October 1st, we will be releasing a podcast with Brandon Mello. He is the person behind Spider-Man and the Monsters of Manhattan, which is another fan film series, much like ours, but quite different to ours in other ways. And if you want to know all the details about that, then we talk all about it in that podcast. So on October 1st, mark your calendars. Brandon and I talk about our respective projects, and I share a bunch of information about Spider-Man Life, about what the series is going to look like, about what the story is about, and a ton of details about how we plan on releasing it, and generally just all the information you could ask for, really, we talk about in that podcast. So so stay tuned for that, because that's dropping on October 1st. Brandon also shares a lot of details about his project, and we just have a great time talking about Spider-Man and talking about filmmaking and all that stuff. So if you're interested in that stuff, then do check that podcast out. It was a really fun one to film. So I think you guys will love that one. And I think that about wraps it up. I could say more. I could talk about more. I can always talk about more. But I think I've said about all that needs to be said for this issue of Director's Corner. Like I said at the beginning, this is going to be the last issue that has the new Variant Pictures X Months in a Review title. From here on out, we're just going to operate as normal. Since now we've fully established ourselves over the course of 1 year, the challenge that I set to make this channel work, we succeeded, and we're going to have a ton of great content in the next year, and in the rest of this year as well, but I just mean in the next 12 months, that is. It's going to be great. We've got a ton of fun stuff planned next year as well, 2022. We've got a bunch of great stuff planned, and in the months leading up to it, we'll have a bunch more to say about it, I'm sure. And from here on out, we're just going to operate as normal. The next issue is going to, I don't know what it's going to be titled, not yet anyway, but it's going to have a title that is specific to that issue. And that's how it's going to be from here on out. We've completed a whole year, and so I think we can say that the new Variant Pictures is now fully established as Variant Pictures Entertainment. And, if you want to check out what the old Variant Pictures is, as opposed to the new one, if you go to our channel, in the channels section, we have a link to the old channel, which is now called Variant Pictures Classic. It's been a crazy 12 months, and I'm so thankful to all of you who have supported the channel, who've liked and viewed, and most of all commented. Because like I've said numerous times, and I will say it again, the comments are my favorite part of this whole thing. And I've just been so happy to do all this, and from everyone at Variant Pictures, I want to thank you all for your continued support. It's been wonderful, and we all are so excited for you guys to see what we have in store for you, be it Gotham Pizza 2, or Spider-Man Life, or Screenwriter's Pitch, or even some new things that we have in the works, but are a bit early to talk about. Whatever it may be, we're incredibly excited to show you, and we want to all thank you for your continued support. So thank you very much from the bottom of all of our hearts. Thank you. So thank you all for watching not only this video, but all of our videos over the last 12 months. It's been a wild ride, like I've just said, but it's been a wonderful ride, and we hope to see you in the videos to come, and we hope that the next 12 months will be even better than the 12 months we've just had. God knows we've got some exciting stuff coming in that time, but you don't have to wait that long for some fun content. Even just the weeks to come, we've got some great stuff coming. So yes, thank you for your continued support once again. It means a lot, truly, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.